Hello and welcome to Business Today Television. I'm Siddharth Zarabi, and with me here at the Business Today Multiverse Studio at the Goafest is Prasanth Kumar, the CEO of GroupM South Asia. Prasanth, welcome to our studio here. Uh, uh, the India Today Group has been here, Business Today is here, and you've been in this industry for so many years, 25 years plus veteran, and you run the ops of the biggest daddy of them in this space. But I want to begin by asking you to tell our audience about what has really come out of this Goa Fest. It's been a pretty decently big event this time around.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me on the show. And it is really good to see that there are a lot of comprehensiveness in this Goa Fest, right? And what I mean by that is, I think from across every sector, people have come in, right? Not just come in to participate, but they have been very actively participating. We've got multiple marketers, thought leaders, experts, different sectors, all there and sharing their thoughts and sharing their views. I think it's great learning happening. We got some fantastic learning sessions, which is the masterclass. People, very senior people, actively involved in it. Right. I think most of the masterclass have gone full and over full actually. I think some very good discussions have been going on, and versatility is felt. Right. But it's not just only the serious stuff. I think there's a lot of fun also which happened. And you are in Goa, so some fun is necessary.
That is essential.
But
To get the creative juices flowing, really.
that's right. That's it. And some, good catch-ups. There's also an opportunity for people to network and share their thoughts, right? And it's absolutely fantastic to see the industries for everyone, right? It's not just one part of the ecosystem. We had clients, we had media broadcasters, publishers, right? Agency, colleagues, different tech, companies and experts. So everybody coming along and spending their time sharing their thoughts. I think it's fantastic progress, very encouraging. Most importantly for me, I think it's also to do with a lot more youngsters coming, right? Ours is an industry where a lot of, movement happens on people, right? And we've gone through quite a hardship pandemic time, right? And it's great to see after that how the youngsters are, continuing to keep the momentum on, right? I think it's a great opportunity. Right?
Wonderful. Let's, since you spoke about the pandemic, and the world really changed with during that, and we saw ups and downs. We saw peak digital consumption, work from home, and now life is come back to normal. So, in terms of the world that you inhabit, and you provide a mirror into people's consumption habits and what's happening in society and culture. Where is advertising headed? Is the future now going to be primarily digital? Because a lot of conversations I have had with people who've sat on this chair seem to suggest that, but there's also a strong set of opinion which says TV has a lot of juice left in it.
No, definitely. I think, the old saying of people are consuming media is now changing because people are in media, right?
Okay.
They have got their own handles, they have got their own channels, and so obviously there is a digital flavor into every consumer, right? And if you look at different mediums, even for every medium there's a digital flavor. I mean, including if you look at not just TV, you got connected TV there, right? You got multiple content published from multiple newsprint. You got online radio, right? So it's not just only the so-called digital, publisher aspect. There are platforms which are built, and of course there are other nuances which are like commerce, right? Growing very fast. But to the point, I think ours is a country where we have seen progress across every medium, right? I mean, let's not take the aberration of COVID time. 2020 was quite a challenging year for everyone, and everyone, not just for our market, but globally. But you've seen how things are shaping up. But the shape of this industry may not be the same. It'll be slightly different composition, right? Of course, you will have a digital impetus happening into the market, which we are seeing. But at the same time, mediums like TV, they are very strong mediums, right? And the consumption of the same is completely driven by the content, the strength of content. And we see that happening because most of the broadcasters continuously are investing into content, right? And representation of the same and ability to create innovative content is becoming more. So I don't think, we should never get into this quick judgment of something is dead or something is over, right?
Snappy
Yeah,
headlines.
so that's not the case because we are a quite diverse consumer set in this market, and that's the biggest advantage we have. So I
Absolutely.
strongly believe, I don't think there is any death of any medium right now, and we've got multiple sectors. India is not one country; there are multiple cultures, right, and multiple habits. I think it's a great opportunity, and I feel it's going to be more progressive for everyone.
Absolutely, and I think it's also a truism that the winner takes all effect doesn't play out in all sectors in India. Let me take this thought forward by getting you to tell us about the confusion that we saw soon after this season of IPL began in advertisers. Claims, counterclaims, digital viewership, TV viewership, and several people suggest that advertisers held back on decision making because of that confusion. We are just 2 days away from the conclusion of this IPL. Has that advertiser confusion been sorted out? And what has really won, TV or digital, in this offline game outside the stadium game that we saw between two major media buyers?
I have a slightly different point of view, and I'll tell you, it's not about who won or who lost, right? I think IPL has come and last so many years a fantastic, milestone property, and a great opportunity for every single category and every single advertiser, right?
There's nothing like this in
There's
India.
nothing like that. I don't know, in the revolution of even television industry, we had mythology playing in a big form. Many years back, we had the Ramayana, Mahabharata.
Mahabharata.
I think after a few years, we had this Kaun Banega Crorepati come and revolutionize, right? And after that, what really happened is something like IPL, right? And that's kept the momentum on. I think a lot of, sports, entertainment, and stickiness of consumers has really helped that property to build up. So for me, it is not about whether who won, right? I think this year, I think a lot more, viewership, a lot more people on the platform, on the digital platform, both have happened, right? And that just shows that the property has a strength for multiple people's choice of watching from where, right? My opinion, this will only grow more strength to strength, right? We had lots of clients participating. Of course, maybe because a few of the large, tech companies or startup companies, taking, probably not choosing to be there.
Yes.
May have
There's
put-
been a pullback.
may have been a challenge. Having said that, I think we have also seen many long tail and small medium clients come into the platform, right? And that is very encouraging. I think the industry today is seeing that there are, it's not just the large, big, advertisers who are able to look at even properties like IPL. You can look at this format in a slightly different form. I think that was an opportunity to innovate from both sides, which I think has come onto the play, and this will only get more stronger in the coming years to come. So I'm quite happy the way IPL is shaped up in terms of the performance, and I think a lot more solutions can be for clients. It's just warming up. I think next year is going to be even more exciting, right? So good one.
And since you say that next year is going to be even more exciting, this year's lessons would have obviously been in play then. What about the softness in advertising that you referred to? And this is to do with a significant section, sort of the sucking out liquidity, not making purchase decisions. Is that a temporary phenomenon? Do you expect it to continue to last? And what's your view on overall advertising expenditure this year?
I think when we had the pandemic in 2020,
Yeah.
we should know that we were quite lucky that as an industry we all stood together and we were collectively on it. And 2020 last quarter onwards, I think slowly market started picking up. We had a good 21. In fact, the last 6 months of 21 was really good, right? We had a good 22 in the first 6 months. So we had a, some kind of a challenge during the pandemic time initially, and then we had a great 12 months, 21 second half and 22 first half, right? But of course, 22 second half had some challenges, right? And we all know that. But and that was mainly due to because I think a lot of conventional advertisers kept on with it. But at the same time, we had multi-tech and startup companies actually coming and, trying to get their, brands as top of
Established
mind,
initially. Yes.
established. I think that was good to see. But at the same time, in some of the quarters, I would say 30, 35 to 40% probably. Some of these categories actually had a share of the addicts, right, in the entire. But when they're making decisions more business oriented, and when they,
As the pressure of
as the,
profitability.
yeah, I mean, people do business to make themselves profitable, right? So they have to take some, important decisions in that order. But let us not again quickly get into the judgment that, oh my God, things have got. I think when 21 happened, people got into the judgment that now we are like, come back and
Boom times.
yeah, boom times. So everybody was so quick to judge into that. In my opinion, we should not get into that quick thing because the setting of normalcy. Because today, every 3 months, every quarter is kind of a year, right? And things change every quarter, right? And therefore, rather than judging, I think we have to be more agile. We have to be adaptive and start looking at every facets of changes, how it is shaping. Look at the kind of opportunities advertisers have got, right? And therefore, I think that's the way it will pan out. So,
Since you speak about change, Prashant, what's the change that technology is pushing in the core business that you are in, which is creativity? What is technology doing there?
I think a lot. Just to say, I think it didn't start like now. I think it has been there for at least last 5 to 7 years. A lot of people tried. Maybe they were slightly early in this entire journey. But now we have more smart technologies available. And people are now raring to use them and leverage it so that we can build on top of it, right? I mean, everybody would have got tired of talking this AI as a subject, but now it's the world of generative AI, right? And to me, that's an advantage, right? I think, just to give you an analogy, there was a time when people used to play tennis, they used to play with wooden rackets.
Absolutely.
Those wooden rackets changed to steel or, right? And then aluminum rackets, right? And then it came to graphite rackets, right? These are again, great weapons or great tools for
Now
people.
now you might hold a tennis racket in your hand, which is of the same material as the space shuttle.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Right. So I see many of these tools, many of this technology actually helping us to
But
even.
the core activity remains the same of hitting the ball with all your
I mean,
strength.
brand building remain the same, right?
Okay.
Telling great stories, communicating the same, remain the same. Now, how do we do it better? How do we get that? Because of the options which have got fragmented and widened, you have to get the person's attention. Now, how does technology play on that? Insights on creating communications, right? Making it better story. I mean, we have seen the kind of quality of web series. We have seen the kind of content that's happening in OTT platform. They have all scaled up. I mean, we exchange notes of which movie to watch this weekend, right? Because I think the choice of content has really gone. And some of them come from insights. And those insights are available today in many of the platforms. So we are just talking about certain ways where convenience can be brought in to get the insights faster. Learning becomes faster so that we can play on top of that and create some fantastic content.
You are such a large operation, your group, and it's got kind of a very large footprint. What are you doing internally, what you can share with our viewers, in order to be able to better serve your core customers, leveraging technology trends? What are the latest stuff that you are pushing internally?
Now, for us, the biggest priority, and always will be, and I'm assuming for everyone, is our customer,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, for both of us, customers are critical, right? Uh, we don't want ever a customer to feel that they're taken for granted. I think that's very, very important. And for that, it's equally important for us to keep ourselves fit, which is to be prepared. And therefore, development and people skill development, people ability to articulate becomes very, very important, especially in a business like ours. So we continue to develop, train people, right? Work with multiple platforms, get the learning on that in a very, very, very assertive manner. And that's like, we're paranoid. We want us to be challenged, right, by our juniors, in the entire ecosystem. So collaborative influence is very important for us, where we work together, make solutions with partners, get people to get trained, developed. All of that is so that's a fundamental point. I think, in a business like ours, as much as it is equal to look at depth of how we do the business, it's also important to look at the width of business, how it is expand.
Right.
Right. And today's solutions are having wider aspects of how the solutions can be brought in. I mean, just to state few, it's not anytime the old traditional media planning aspects, right? It's not anymore the traditional media solutions aspect. I mean, we got influencers. We never had influencers 5 years back. We never had a line called influencer marketing in any of the media plan.
Absolutely.
Right. We never had something called an e-commerce marketing. Right. Social media came in about 8 to 10 years back. So all of this expanding options and solutions. So it's important to first learn, get trained, experiment. Maybe a couple of mistakes may happen, but that's a good learning for you. But therefore, the ability to do mistakes should be there. But I think when you work closely with our customers, with our clients, then you're one team. So continuous exchange of what's happening in the business, what's happening in the consumer side, how do you be innovative, good ideas come over. So I think we focus on that, and therefore we've expanded and widened the solution that we can do with our customers, right? Multiple products, a lot more ability to be agile, so creating a central engine. And we got a division called Nexus, right? So the belief is very simple. It is not about how many millions a customer is spending, because whether it's about like say few lakhs being spent or lots of crores being spent, the same platform, the money is the same. I mean, the value of the money is the same. So therefore, you have to do the best for whichever the money which the campaign is getting spent. So how do you do that? You have to constantly work with the platform,
right,
understand what's happening.
Right.
So platform expertise, knowing the partner solutions which can be leveraged. Right. We spend a lot of time on that. So that's the first point I have. I think the second point is it's also important to mold and shape the solutions, and therefore a lot of products, a lot of insights, which is product formation and ability to articulate that and get the benefits for customers. We spend a lot of time on that. So today we're quite happy that it's in a progressive stage. I don't think we're chasing the perfect world. We're chasing progress.
Absolutely.
Right? And because we know it's not going to be the same, right?
Yes. And that's very important, chasing progress. But you mentioned traditional media, and I was going to come to at some point, but I'm glad you said that. I want to ask you a question, and right here it says Business Today on stands, online, on air.
Yeah.
And we call ourselves the multiverse. That's our aspiration as one of the oldest business brands in business news brands in the country. Explain the relevance of this, because everyone says, "Arey, TV kaun dekh raha hai? Sab log digital mein hai." I think there is something called a OTT bias. A certain profile watches OTT, certain kind of content, doesn't have ad breaks, and therefore says the whole world has gone to OTT. Unpack it all for us, as someone who understands it so well.
No, I think, this is so true, right? There is a consumption opportunity on stands, and there's something on air and online, right? That's exactly what is it. I believe that today, because of the opportunities more, let's start with the consumer first, because that's why I started saying that it's not about consuming media. They are in media.
They are already there. They are themselves creators.
In media. So,
and they have multiple experiences all at the same time.
Exactly. Right. So it's important to understand their needs, their habits, their behavior. Because behavior gets into habit later. You got to be at it. Habits do not just get formed, right, in a day, right? So we have to know that we have to engage with the customer and continuously engage, and therefore their needs, her needs, his needs are different. They want a more novelty, right? So how we innovate ourselves. So that's very, very critical. So I think that journey has shaped up quite well. Also because we're a country of multi languages, right? And multi cultures. So it's important. It's not easy to get everything all done at the same time. So I think today, if you look at the entire ecosystem, I think we should be happy it's all done well. But the ability to, clear, I see the strength of multiverse because there is simultaneous consumption happening from a consumer side. When we see TV, we are on the phone, right? Or when we are on the phone, we may be, referring to a few pages in a magazine, right? All these are happening today. So I think that will continue. I don't think, I mean, what I know is this behavior and habit. I don't think a consumer is choosing only a medium. Consumer is choosing content, right? What it follows. So wherever it is there available, slowly the habits will get formed and it's on. So I think there is a lot of room, and I think it's a great way to position yourself as multiverse, right? So it's good.
Uh, what about overall growth? Since the media in India is fragmented, what about the size of the pie? A lot more people trying to chase the same thing, a large dependence on advertising versus subscriptions. What do you see happening here? And I also want to add to sort of lengthen the question. Rajan Anandan saying $25 billion digital by 2030. Would you agree with that?
No, I think, Rajan would have put a kind of a number there. But more than the number, it could be 25, it could be 23, it could be 27, for instance. But I think the direction is true, and we all feel that, right? And the reason is that I think a lot more of us will start getting into that platform and finding solutions with that. It is in a way, getting into multi solutions. I don't think digital is a separate word from any kind of marketing solution anymore. Most of the solution will have a flavor of digital because it is going to happen in that form. That is why connected TV is becoming such a huge, a kind of a pie that is going to grow within the television fold, right? So that is how the transformation of TV business itself will change.
Is happening.
I think a lot of technology will come into TV business itself. Because we are inhaling how a digital opportunity is expanding because they can micro target, right? We want the same in TV. It's not about having a regional channel, right? A lot more will start happening on that. Even if you look at print, there are multi editions, right? I think a lot more advertisers will start coming in, a lot more businesses. We are a country where we are so blessed to have so many entrepreneurs in multi-field, right? And the ability to, use, a solution on marketing is a need for every advertiser. It could be a B2C, it could be a B2B, it could be a small community, but they need a channel to talk.
What does your group do for example, SMEs? SMEs are a very strong part of our economy. They may not have the same sort of power when it comes to advertising. 400-500 companies dominate across mediums. But overseas, we see SMEs being very large advertisers in certain economies. What is your group doing there? What are your thoughts about how they could get a better opportunity?
So there are two things. I think we are again very fortunate that even if you look at last a decade, our portfolio has a lot of small, medium, enterprises already. I think close to about 85% of our customers are small or medium enterprises, right? Not the spends. I'm saying the clients, from that.
By their revenue size.
By the number of clients. If we have 100 clients,
okay,
almost 80, 85.
Okay.
Right? But if you look at the spends, it could be, much for the larger clients.
Obviously.
Right? But The reason we enjoy, or rather, we find a good, opportunity for us to work with them is, I think, a lot of cultural learning, right? A lot of ability to experiment, and I think it's a similar journey as much as any large client would have happened, 15 years back or 20 years back, right? But the landscape has changed, so you got to keep on doing it. So we have been doing that for some time. We have launched multi-products where we could go and talk to more small, medium clients. We're doing that. In fact, we're again fortunate that we have got about 8 offices across the country, so we use that, right? Because of our solutions like out of home, we're even more having more satellite offices. We use that, and I think a lot of collaboration happens, right, from that context. Even working with partners from that. We've been engaged on that, and I think strengthening that will only be more, right? So that's a good progress again for us. And we saw this happening about, in a very effective manner about 3 to 4 years back, right? But you have to be agile. Things are not the same,
Absolutely.
And that agility started coming when there were more startup companies which came in, right? Because everything they wanted yesterday, right? So we like challenges. They're riddles to be solved. So it's been a good story there.
It's a good story, and since you spoke about change as a constant, really, if I'm sitting here with you next year,
Yeah.
what do you think we'll be talking about?
I think we'll have lots of things to talk. But let me tell you about 2-3 points. I think we'll definitely talk about how the shaping of the entire advertising economy is getting widened and as well as deeper, right? Why am I saying that? Is I think a lot of discovery and a lot of inventions will happen in our models itself, right? A lot of ability to have the collective solution, especially from networks, even if it is a media side or an agency side, even client side, will start coming on further. So I think that will be I think it'll be a good way to look at how different opportunities, different solutions have come in. So that's one topic. And the second one is going to be e-commerce is really gaming up in the market. And there are ancillary e-commerce, not just the largest platforms we have. Right?
And ONDC might also...
Definitely, it's part of the same. But we'll also see them being, in some form, an integral part of the solution when every media is talking. It's not just a digital solution, right? So the ability to connect, ability to find a solve in that, which is adding back into, right? I think I also feel that because of all the impetus of generative AI and different tools, our ability to tell stories will get even more better. So I'm hoping that I'm going to definitely discuss with you next year when we meet about some fantastic advertising campaigns that have happened. Right?
Wonderful, and many more awards as always.
Thank you
Prashant,
so much.
thank you very much for your time. With that, it's a wrap on this conversation. If you've been, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.